Well, you may see folks using one of these at your local grocery store. They're called bridge cards, and they're meant to help those who can't make ends meet.
But as Brittany Gray shows us, one local lawmaker says the current system is wasting tax dollars, and he wants it stopped in part 2 of Food or Fortune.
Just swipe and enter a 4-digit PIN. It's how Michigan provides support to some 1.7 million on welfare. But many store managers argue some bridge card users are cashing in on more than the necessities. You don't have to look far to find out why.
But I've seen people using their cards for cigarettes and everything, alcohol and everything.
And on Facebook, a page for bridge card holders. On it, Trevor Lambert writes, "When I have extra, I go out and buy crab legs or barbecue ribs for the family." And J-Man says, "I just bought a new plasma TV with my bridge card." There's no way to know if these posts are true, but House Representative Rick Jones says it's a problem that he wants to tackle.
From what I've seen, from what I've heard, almost anybody can walk in there and say, "I need a bridge card, I'm hungry."
The Department of Human Services gives out those bridge cards. They say it's not that simple to qualify. Each person goes through a lengthy process. And for every applicant approved, DHS says it's tackling a bigger problem, a very real need for help.
Someone may need the cash assistance so they can meet the rent, while someone else might really need the cash assistance to pay for a bus ticket to get to and from work or school.
But Jones argues more restrictions are needed.
That cash assistance was meant for the necessities of life, diapers, toilet paper, toothpaste, not for spending on drugs, pornography, alcohol, cigarettes.
And it's that simple for people who get cash assistance. Just by getting cash out of an ATM or telling a clerk to take the money off the card's cash side. No questions asked. And though it requires more work, Jones says even those who only receive food assistance can still get around the system. One way to do that, to sell your bridge card in exchange for cash.
Jones admits though most use the card correctly, some take advantage of the system. And right now the state says there's little they can do to correct the problem.
We are following federal guidelines for that program, and the guidelines say that under cash assistance, people can use that money at their discretion.
But Jones says he's got a solution. He and some other lawmakers want to see bridge card recipients show an ID, take drug tests, and make college students prove they're independent of their parents. To tackle the abuse, Jones says, make it illegal to buy items like alcohol, cigarettes, and lottery tickets. Don't give bridge card users the option to get cold hard cash from an ATM or cash back from a clerk. And limit what people can purchase at grocery stores so they can only buy the basics.
Making rules that, so DHS doesn't tell folks, you can use that any way you want. It's your money. No, it's not. It's the taxpayers' money.
But DHS says that's not as easy as it sounds, and in the end, bridge card users would end up paying the price.
I think that we have to be careful when we're talking about restricting cash assistance, because there's a very real need for allowing flexibility.
But Jones argues that flexibility is at the expense of the taxpayer, many of whom are struggling themselves in a tough economy. In the end, he says it's not about cutting assistance from those who need a hand up, but instead those who expect a handout.
Now, in response to our 6 o'clock story, which discussed how some people receiving food assistance have gone around the system, the Department of Human Services sent us this email. Michigan was one of the states that requested changes to prohibit food assistance recipients from dumping pop to return the cans for cash. The most recent Farm Bill reflects those changes, but they have not yet set the penalties.
Now, Facebook, we talked about that tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
you had Facebook where you actually saw people who were bragging on Facebook about what they were getting away with their bridge cards.
Right. And I actually tried to contact J-Man and Trevor, tried to friend them, but they didn't respond to my friendship. They didn't respond to my email. Yeah, they didn't want to be my friend.
And you got more responses besides DHS after your 6 o'clock report. People were giving you calls and emailing. What were they saying?
Yeah. Well, after 6 o'clock, it was about half and half. Some people calling saying, thank you for addressing this issue. I've seen this. I had a retailer saying, this happens on a daily basis and I feel like I can't do nothing about it, do anything about it. But then some people saying, you're making these guys look like out to be the villains. And obviously, we mentioned at 6, there's a very real need here in Michigan.
Sure.
With a high unemployment rate, there are people who really do need this help. But as I mentioned before, there's, a small group
And to
Right
take
way to use them in a wrong way.
Exactly, and there's, you know, a group that is taking advantage of the system.
illuminating. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate it.